Condense, swoosh, solve, check. Condense, swoosh, solve, check. Condense, swoosh, solve, check. So this part we gotta go ahead and condense it down. Then we're gonna swoosh it. Then we're gonna solve it. Then we're gonna check it. So it's not condensed because we have two logs going on here. But again, on this one, the x got a log and the x minus 7 got a log. So that means those have to condense down to get down to one log. So if we condense it down, that means here, step 1, condense. We're going to have just one log, because that's what we need to get down to. It's going to be x times x minus 7. And why is it times again? What rule do we use? We use the product rule. Product rule. So you gotta know those rules. The product rule, the quotient rule, the power rule. Gotta know them all. Okay. Now, before we actually start doing the swoosh and all that good stuff, here's what I would do to make this even simpler, to make this better. I would go ahead and distribute this x to both terms here. I would distribute sweet. Ah, it's the sweet one. So I would get x squared minus 7x base 2 equals 3. I would do that first, and now I would go in the swoosh, because it'd be less writing to do, and it actually look, to me, it looks better to do it this way. So we swoosh it, I'm moving that 3 to the left side again. X squared minus 7x are on the same line as the log. 2 is the base number. And we swoosh it around. Bring it around town. Bring it around town. So if we swoosh it, that means we're going to do 2 to the third power, 2 cubed, equals x squared minus 7x. Cool. So not bad. We can do this. We got this. We got this. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing says to solve it out. So what is 2 to the third power? Is that 6? Is it 9? Is it 8? Is it 22? 23? Well, it should be 8. 2 to the third power is 8. X squared minus 7x. Okay. And to solve this out, we have an x squared and an x on one side, and we have a number on the other side. And we really can't do anything right now the way it is. So to solve it out, we have to get everything to one side, and we got to do either our factoring things that you guys did last year in Math 3, or complete the square, or quadratic formula, any of those things that you learned last year in Math 3. So let's go to move 8 to the other side. And here we know 8 and 7x are not like terms, so we can't combine those. So we leave it separated. So we get 0 equals x squared minus 7x minus 8. And then we have to factor it. So we did this in a warm-up already to factor it and figure out what's going on. So we're going to make sure that we need to factor again. So again, I'm going to just explain it one more time to make sure everybody remembers how to do it. So here we're going to do a big X. We're going to do our X box here. X box. I like X box. Negative 8 goes on top. Negative 7 goes on the bottom. So negative 8 was right here. Negative 7 was right here. So that went on the top. That went on the bottom. And we look at what multiplies together to give you negative 8. But when you add those same two numbers together, it gives you negative 7. What multiplies to give you negative 8, but adds to give you negative 7. So looking at our numbers for 8 and look at numbers here. So we know 1 times 8, we know 2 times 4, and that's pretty much it. That makes up 8. So we just have to figure out where the negative will go, because we have to get a negative 7, and we also have to get negative 8. And hopefully, as you like finagle these around and try to figure out which one should be negative, which one should be positive, and which one will give us the answer we need, you should get negative 8 and a positive 1 multiplied to give you a negative 8. But when you do negative 1 plus negative 8 plus 1, gives you negative 7. So negative 8 times 1 gives you negative 8. Negative 8 plus 1 gives you negative 7. So when we do this, we have x minus 8, x plus 7. Sorry, x plus 1, wow, x plus 1, x plus 1, there. And we have to continue to solve it out. So we need to solve it for x here, and hopefully everybody remembers the zero product principle, whatever. And they probably didn't know that was the name of this, but that was the name, that's what it is, the zero product principle. We set both things equal to 0 and solve it out for x. So here, we have 8 equals x, or x equals 8, and we get negative 1 equals x. Okay, and so the last thing is to check. So we condensed it, we swooshed it, we solved it, and now it's time for us to check it out. Check it out, check it out. Check it out, check it out, check it out. That's from a show from a while back. I don't remember if it was like Barney or what. It was from something. Maybe Gullah Island or something. You guys are too young for that, so you wouldn't know about that. Alright, so I'm going to go back to here. Come back to the beginning. 2, and it was plus log x minus 7 base 2, and that equaled 3 there. And we're going to check it with 8 first, and then we're going to check with negative 1. So we're going to use both 8 for both of these x values here. We use for both x values, not 8 and negative 1 inside of the same one. So we're going to put 8 here. 8, 8, 8. I love 8. 8, 8, 8. It's so great. Alright, so we go down and work these out. We put 8 in for both x values there, so we can visually see we put an 8 in for that x, we put an 8 in for that x right there too. So here we're going to go ahead and keep this. Here we're going to do log 1 base 2. And again, here we're going to put this in the calculator, put that in the calculator, and we're going to be done. And I know you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to remember how to do all this stuff. If you say that, that means you're not going to remember it, because you're prophesying over yourself that you're not going to remember this stuff. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're not going to remember it because you tell yourself you're not going to remember it. You can do it. You can. So we're going to put those in the calculator and get an answer really quickly. So we do alpha y equals log 8. And then log 2 over log 2. And everybody should get answer of 3 there. And then log 1 and log 2. That should give you another answer there that hopefully should match up with what you need. So here this was 3. This was 0. Answer's 3 there. So 3 equals 3. So far x equals 8 is an answer. So far that does work out. So we just have to check the other one, negative 1, and see if that works out too. If it does, then great. Both of them are answers. If it doesn't, that means only 8 is our answer. So that's why you have to check them, because it could be both answers could be right, or one of them might be right. And if you choose the one that's both of them are right, because this is going to be a multiple choice section in your test, or on your test, and if you choose the one that both of them are right, you're going to get it wrong. Even though you did the work to get the right answers, but you got the wrong final answer. So that's not going to be cool, yo. Don't do that to yourself. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. You must check it. You must check. Write me a check. Write me a check. Write me a check. Write me a check. All right. So here, the last thing is to check the negative 1. And before we move any further, we said before when it came to our log functions that the x value, when it came to right here, this number right here, and this number right here, because remember that originally that was, when we wrote this, was log x base b. We said that x or that b, they had to be greater than 1. Sorry, not greater than 1, sorry, greater than 0. And for b, it had to be greater than 1. But they both had to be greater than 0, which means we said before that they both had to be positive numbers. But if we look at this problem here, that x value, so that spot right there, Is that a positive one or a negative one? Is that a positive answer or a negative answer? Yes, it's negative. And if we do -1 minus -7 here, doesn't that come out to be negative also for that spot? It's negative. So if there's a negative number, we said right here in this spot, or in this spot when we combine them, it was no solution. So this would not work out. So you can't have a negative number in that spot there, or even in that spot, or a negative number overall right here. You can't have it. So if that happens, you just stop and say no solution. So in this problem, the only answer is x equals 8. That's the only answer that works for this problem. So your final answer is x equals 8. Bam, 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 bam. It is more work on this one. I agree. I understand it is a lot more. It's not a whole lot more work, but it's more work there. You're just going to have to make sure you take your time through it and take your time through it. Don't try to rush and be like, I need to get this over with because I hate math. I hate math. I hate math. You got to take your time and just work your way through it, because you guys can do it. You can do it. I don't need you to to second guess yourself. I know you can do it. I believe you can do it. I wouldn't give this to you if I knew you couldn't do it. I trust you. I believe in you. So I need you to believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it, and you will. All right. So we're going to go to our next example here. Oh, sorry, our practice, and then we'll move on from there. Enjoy.